All right, another episode of the Journey Podcast, episode 5.
Number
I think.
5.
One thing after, because we watch all these. One thing after watching them, I think we've talked a lot about not necessarily how easy it is, but maybe we've portrayed that like entrepreneurship, real estate, mortgage, like we've just had fun and games in this industry the whole time that we've been in it, and that is just so far from the truth. So
Right.
I think dedicating an episode to talking a little bit more about the struggles, maybe some personal stories, lessons that we've learned even, could go a long ways just for other entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs watching and wanting to learn something about
Yeah.
what not to do.
Yeah, because I feel like, that is very, very important because not only for people watching, I believe even ourselves growing up,
Right.
looking at successful people, they've always portrayed like an image as if entrepreneurship is easy, and we have all these so-called gurus online that make people think like you can just get into the business and then become an overnight success, which is way far from the truth.
Yeah.
The reality of this game called entrepreneurship is it is ugly, right? It is very ugly, and we are going to talk about the challenges, the mistakes, and the pain that is inflicted to get to any level of success, because it's not always like fairy tales or sunshine and rainbow.
Yeah, I think social media and the media does a good job describing entrepreneurship and those who have succeeded as those who just like had a one-off really, really good idea,
Yeah.
or that struck gold, got really just like lucky one time. And it's far from the truth. And a lot of entrepreneurs that do podcasts talk about what they've done right, and almost strictly what they've done right. We both know that they didn't get to where they're at because of only the things
No.
that they've done right, and that they've never made any sort of mistakes. But I don't think they do a very good job like reflecting and talking about those stories. I also think we're in a unique position because a lot of the podcasts and people that people listen to are on such a pedestal that it almost feels impossible that they've made any mistakes, and they probably don't make that many mistakes nowadays because they have everything so dialed in.
Right.
Whereas we are in a different position making this podcast, right? We're still on the up and up. We've made the mistakes that we've made. We won't make those ones again, but I'm sure there's still plenty of mistakes in our future. So I think this is just a ongoing like documentary of like trial and error, what's worked, what's not worked, to get us to where we are and where we're going to be going.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just being transparent and honest to the people watching, I think that's gonna help them a lot, because when I'm talking to people, like newer people coming into not only into real estate, but newer people thinking of becoming business owners and entrepreneurs, one of the things I hear the most is how fast they want to make it, how easy it is to be entrepreneur, and they think of they think about all the successes that's gonna come, all the good things, and how they are going to get there. But a few of them are actually thinking of the challenges that they have to go through along the way. Right. Like a few of them are thinking about the pain, right? It's just like telling someone you can go to the gym and you'll be in shape and shredded out and lean without having to go through physical pain.
Right.
That's bullshit, right?
Right.
Yeah. So the game of entrepreneurship, it's kind of similar to that. There is no way you are going to go from A to Z, like from starting to becoming successful, without having to go through the pain. And it's gonna be physical pain, it's gonna be mental pain, it's gonna be emotional pain, it's gonna be financial pain. So you are going to go through a bunch of challenges just to be successful. I am an example of it. I think you are too. We have different stories, but that just show you how difficult this game is, right? For example, right now we are both into this business. We are trying to make it. We are still learning. We are getting the results, which is positive. But personally, some people, when they look at me, I've talked to many people. They're like, "Oh, this guy's he's just lucky, right?" He's closing this many deals. It's easy for this guy to make a sale, but nobody knows really how much time I spend doing this. There is a lot that goes behind the scenes that only a few
Totally.
people around me. Like, if you're not close to me, you are not going to understand the amount of sacrifice, the amount of work. Last night, I went to bed 4 in the morning. Like, I was up all night.
Wow.
All night working, right? Not just staying up. I was all night working because I had so much stuff to do. I had to work on my CRM. I had to automate my campaigns. I had to set up my calls for today. I had to plan the rest of my week because I'm traveling tomorrow, and I had to do that sacrifice. I had to sacrifice my sleep, but then still wake up at 7 in the morning to start making my calls, right? And most people don't see that. Most people don't see that sacrifice, right? So it's a lot of pain inflicted, right? And along the way, coming to the US, I started pretty much 5 businesses, from drop shipping, shoes. I love shoes, drop shipping, furniture. I tried to start a real estate wholesaling business, which I failed terribly because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have all the lessons and everything. But every time I failed forward.
Right.
Every time I made a mistake, I had to learn from those mistakes. For example, I quit my job in 2019 to move to New York to start a drop shipping business because I had to learn from someone that was physically there, which was a terrible mistake. Like, business-wise, personal-wise, it was a terrible mistake. But the reason why I left Seattle to go to New York, it wasn't only to a business standpoint, although that was a $1 million mistake that I made, but it was more so of also a growth kind of decision that I had to make. Why? Because I was 26, working as an operation manager, making 6 figures, about a house. I think I've talked about it on the other episode. I bought my first house. I had just 2 cars, and life was great. But I came to the US to become an entrepreneur. I came to the US to pursue my dreams. I gave up on medical school for my parents to send me here to be an entrepreneur. But doing that job, I was kind of content, and I was comfortable in Seattle. So I was just going to work and getting my salary. And I kind of put my dreams to the side to a point where I wasn't thinking about it anymore. I wasn't chasing it anymore. And one day I just went to work and I was like, what am I doing? And I tried to get back to entrepreneurship, but just having that comfort, I couldn't really pursue my dreams as much as I possibly could. The drive, the grind. And I was like, the only way for me to get back on track, to get back to entrepreneurship, is to put myself to a position or to create a type of scenario where that if it didn't work, I'm going to have to lose everything.
Right.
And the only way for me to do it was I had to leave Seattle, which was my comfort zone, which was my home. Made a decision to quit my 9 to 5, my 6-figure job, jump on the plane, get to New York, didn't know anyone, and I had to start from scratch there. That was a mistake, right? If I had to go back 4 or 5 years ago, maybe I would have to do it differently. Maybe I could revisit that decision, and that cost me everything. Cost me my money, cost me my cars. I got 2 cars repossessed. I lost pretty much everything, like literally everything. Spent 9 months in New York, came back to Seattle with negative $2,800 in the bank, and I didn't have any place to stay. I had to go back to crash at my sister's place.
Wow.
Right, at 27. I had to literally go back and crash at my sister's place. I was homeless, basically like 4 years ago. And that mistake technically helps me to understand that as I'm moving forward in business, I have to rethink many times before I make an impulsive decision.
Right.
I have to understand what are the pros and cons of every decision I'm making, and what are the consequences of those decisions. And that situation caused me a lot of mental pain, because I was like, man, so now what? I am starting from ground zero.
Right.
But these are just the struggle we have to go through when trying to make it.
I think having your back against the wall as an entrepreneur is a really, really good thing, because if you think about entrepreneurship, it's like a game, and there's winners and there's losers.
Right.
And if I had to put my money on an entrepreneur winning, and there's a group of, let's say, 2 entrepreneurs, I'm going to bet on the one that if they fall, they're falling to nothing, because versus the person that has a backup plan. Because the person that has the backup plan at 4 a.m, when they maybe don't have everything done yet, they'll just go to sleep, because they know if it doesn't work out,
Then
they'll be fine.
Right.
They have plan B, C, D, whatever. The other person, if they have nothing, you know damn well that they're going to continue to work, because if they don't, there's no other option. They will just become homeless.
Yeah.
And if they got into entrepreneurship in the beginning and have that grind mentality and attitude,
Right.
that's not in their genetics or their genes to do that.
Right.
So that's the person I'm betting on. So I think having your back against the wall and really going all out, if that's what you want to do, is the only way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I feel like some people also think entrepreneurship is easy, because us as entrepreneurs, we are also not really honest to each other, right? If we walk into a room of, let's say, 5 or 6 or 10 real estate professionals, whether they are loan officers or real estate agent, and you ask them, how's business is going?
Oh, it's always good.
They will say, it's fantastic, right? That's
Always
fucking
good.
bullshit. That's fucking bullshit.
Right.
It's not going well. We are struggling.
Totally.
It's hard, right? But we are not really like honest to each other. We don't allow each other the opportunity to learn from each other. And since we are not really honest to each other, we also lie to the people around us, right? We portray an image of business always going good. We never speak about all the stuff that don't go well.
You don't post about not getting transactions, right? Every
Yeah.
post is closed or in contract or
Yes.
successes that you have. I mean, it could be, for me, it's, personal and work, right? So it's good things that happen in my personal life, good things that happen at work. So if you look at the social media, it's all, you're like, wow, this guy must be killing it. It's
Right.
going really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working really hard to be able to get to that point where things are going really well. And I think I've had some early success in the industry because of my hard work and dedication.
Right.
But that does not mean it's been, it's been sunshine and rainbows the whole time.
Definitely. I mean, by the end of the day, once you are able to understand, it's not going to always be easy. It's not going to always be positive. It's not always going to be there for you. Then you be prepared, right? Because I was watching a video of Eric Thomas one day. He said something like along the lines, like, in the army, when soldiers get to the army and they get to the practical training, they start training them first by understanding how to carry a dead body.
Wow.
They don't teach you how to swim. They don't teach you how to shoot a gun, right? They teach you how to carry a dead body. But now you ask yourself the question, why would I start you there? Because that is the worst case scenario.
Right.
That is what you are least prepared for, right? When you're going to war, you don't think my homie is going to die and I need to carry him. That is the worst case scenario. But once you are prepared with the worst case scenario, then anything else is going to be kind of easy to manage.
Easier, sure.
Right? So as an entrepreneur, you have to understand you will make up a mistake, you will fuck up, you will fail many times. That's going to happen, right? Plus, this game is so brutal and so ugly. It's also lonely, right? Not everyone around you will understand exactly why you do what you do and the amount of sacrifice you are going to have to make. And if you don't make those sacrifices to get to where you want to go, then what you want will definitely become the sacrifice, right? So, and don't be surprised when you are making decisions or when you are building a business and people around you don't understand it, you are always the one person that don't go to parties. You are always the one person that cannot really hang out with people.
Right.
You are always the one person that has to always stay up and always be on the phone, making phone calls and talking to people, missing dinners, missing birthdays, and missing that. This is the sacrifice you have to make. And there is no other way. That's why I feel like only a third of the people could actually become entrepreneurs, because most people, especially our generation, they're not willing to do that.
And it's like I said, it's a game. There's gonna be somebody that outworks you.
Yeah.
And if there is, and they're in the same industry as you, they win, you lose.
They win, you
Not
lose.
everybody can win.
Yeah. So the game of entrepreneurship, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely hard. And if you are thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, yes, if you pay your dues, if you work hard, if you take actions, you are going to be successful. Definitely, you are going to be successful. Right. But on your way to success, just be mindful of the challenges. Just be mindful of the pain, especially mental pain. That shit eats you up alive,
yeah.
right? When you work hard for like 10 months straight, there is no result. You wake up super early, you stay up late, and there is no result. Or are you at that moment? Are you going to keep on going? Or are you going to back out and give up? Most people just decide to give up. But you have to keep on going. You have to try over and over and over and over again. And all it takes is just one good idea. Just one good idea for your life to change, right? You can try 5 other businesses. You can try 100 other ideas, but all it takes just one good idea.
People overestimate what they can do in a month, but they underestimate what they can do in a decade. Right. So what I mean by that is, if you put your head down and work and work and work and do what you know is going to be successful in your entrepreneurship venture or your career, your journey, in 1 month, you're not going to see anything. Just like if you go to the gym for a month and diet, you're not going to see anything. But over the course of a decade, or for me, the few years that I've been in the industry, I sure haven't seen the fruits of my labor to the full max extent yet, but a little bit. I've gotten a little taste of, man, wow, 3 years of putting my head down and doing the work that other people might not be willing to do has gotten me this far ahead compared to the other people that were starting in mortgage when I started. We had a class of 40 people. I think there's 4 left. I've done more, not to brag, but I've done more volume than all of them. I don't think it's because I have any sort of secret sauce or I'm, more personable or any of that sort of stuff. I've just put my head down and done what I know needs to be done day in and day out, not making excuses. The non-negotiables in my schedule, I do them no matter what. Like you said, you got up at 7 this morning to make your calls because those are non-negotiables that you do every single day. And at least for me, I know as soon as I don't do them, like here's an example. I wake up at 4:30 to go to the gym every single weekday, Monday through Friday. I know if I miss a day of doing that, I will never do it again because I'll get a taste of sleeping in past 4:30.
Definitely.
And be like, oh, this is way more comfortable.
That sounds good.
You know what I mean? So I think putting your head down and doing the work is the game.
Right.
That's what entrepreneurship is. And like I said, social media and people make it seem like maybe that's not the case, that you just have a good idea or some people are just born better than others to do this sort of thing. I really think it's putting the pedal to the metal and just doing what others won't for an extended period of time. And that's how you win. Yeah,
definitely. And as you said, there are no negotiable. I feel like people need to understand there are goals and you have to set up standards for whatever you're trying to accomplish. Whether it is in entrepreneurship or school, whatever, you have to have goals, but you have to also have standards. Goals can always change, but standards won't.
Right.
Chick-fil-A closed on Sundays.
Think how much money they're losing.
That's their standards. They don't care, right? They close on Sunday. It doesn't matter if they are like any school. It doesn't matter if they are like a very busy area. They close on Sunday. These are their standards. I make my call from 7 to 11. I don't give a shit what's going to happen. Right. When I'm sick or if I have something, if I didn't sleep well, if I went to bed late, I got to wake up and start making my calls because that's what's going to get me business. But these are the sacrifices. You have to understand that it's the only way for you to get there. as long as it's hard, as long as it's difficult, you are also learning and growing as a person. Because if you are committed to yourself on what you said you are going to do for yourself, then other people can also trust you. Because people can only trust people who are committed to themselves. Right? And most of the time, we always see difficult things, challenges, pain as some things negative. But it's a part of the journey. It's a part of the growth, right? The more you fail, the more you learn. And failing, let's put it this way. When you're trying to build, let's say, business A, and you fail in doing it, failing in that business will actually teach you what you need not to do in order for it to be successful. Now, when you move to business B, you've learned all the lessons that you made. From the mistakes you made building business.
Buying your time back, basically. I think that's why we're creating this. I think if somebody can have a few takeaways here, so when they start their entrepreneurial venture, they're going to be a couple steps ahead of us because they won't have to learn that the hard way.
Definitely. Yeah. So they have to be prepared. They have to also understand it's normal, those challenges. It's just a part of the journey. You cannot be a professional athlete without going to the gym every single day having the physical pain. It's a part of the growth. It's a part of the journey. So just be mindful of that and be prepared. And don't think like it's going to be like an easy ride. It's going to be tough. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be nasty. But as long as you can get through those things, you'll be successful.
Absolutely. Cool. I think that wraps it up pretty good. We'll continue to have episodes along the way that are just updates on things that are going well, things that aren't going well, lessons learned,
Definitely.
Short stories of things we've dealt with. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, we see you next time.
Yeah, thanks.